Ntokozo mayenziwe kwakaxaba ononkosi umashwabada owashwabadela iinkomo nezimpondo owadla imihlambi yamadoda umavulane owavula inkanda ivabile.
Today, I am saddened by the fact that I have to stand here and pay tribute on your passing instead of celebrating your graduation.
It is so painful to lose someone so young, so full of dreams. May your beautiful soul rest in peace.
She stuck with me from the very first day of our first year until her last breath. Men who are learning here, I refuse to stand in front of you and talk about gender-based violence.
Every man that has killed don't deserve to have a bad hearing. The approach of gender-based violence in our country is poor.
So those were some of the speakers who were at Ntokozo Xaba's memorial service that was held at the Soshanguve Tshwane University of Technology campus. With that said, we want to say hello, Dumelang Sanbonani, South Africa. A very warm welcome to your #1 youth current affairs show. Of course, Kibalalaga Expressions. This is definitely the place for you to air your views. I'm your host, Jacqueline Maphala.
As we commemorate February, the month of love, siyabuza apha ekhaya into yokubana ingaba ubudlelwane bothando bubuchaphazela njani ubomi bakho njengomntu omtsha. Siyazi kaloku into yokubana ngamanye amaxesha iba ngulavidavi, ibe ngu-I can't live without you, kube sweet nenyongo. Kodwa noxa kunjalo siyabona ukuba iintliziyo zabantu ziye zixheleke, zibe nemigqopho ngenxa yothando. Njengoko ke sithe sabona kuNtokozo Xaba, othe wahlatywa wabhubha ngowayesakuba lisoka lakhe. uJacqueline ke uye wathetha neetshomi zikaNtokozo, nam ndayixovula ingxoxo kunye nabafundi base-TUT ukufumanisa ingxaki nezisombululo kule nyewe. Rhabula ungafinqi.
We now are speaking to some of, the individuals, friends who knew Ntokozo very well, just to really find out, who she was, most importantly, because obviously as much as this tragic thing has happened, we also want to remember her in her best light.
I could say she knew what she wanted. She was really specific in a lot of things. We used to do a lot of assignments together, and she did a whole lot of editing, making sure that everybody gets her part and everything like that. I'd like for people to remember her as a strong person. She was not killed in abuse. She left.
At this age, we are so young to be mourning death of our friend. For me, it's the first time I lose a friend, and it's a pain that I was not looking up to at any time. Ntokozo lived her life. Ntokozo was happy after she got out of that relationship. We were there with her. We made sure that she smiled each and every day.
We lost a friend. We lost a sister. All I can say is that Ntokozo was brave enough to leave that toxic relationship. But that guy couldn't leave her alone.
I also just emphasized to her one time and said, I don't feel comfortable with you being around him, because she would hang out with him from time to time, but not with him, alongside with her friends. But I said, this is not good for you and your healing journey. We were going to start gymming together. We planned to do that. And unfortunately, that cannot happen.
Despite how strong your friend is, how brave she is, if she's going through a lot, just push, just ask her questions, just do by all means to talk to her, just force her to talk to you. Don't say because she's strong, she got this.
if a guy ushaya umngani wakho, hamba utshela umama womngani wakho. Don't be a good friend and say, I won't say anything and I'll try to help you. It always ends up like this because the guy is going to continue. Men are physically stronger than us. And saying that I won't tell anyone, we will talk it out or anything like that, don't. Be a couple boyfriend, be a couple girl, like tell someone older.
Let's just stop abusing women. Let's just stop killing our women because of, to us, they're very, very special to us. And I always remember her as my best friend, as my sister.
So it's going to be very difficult to navigate life without her in our circle. But I really do pray to God that He gives us the strength to carry us through this difficult time.
Hello Expression, saqhubeka ke noxovula ingxoxo. Siyabuza into yokubana is umjolo the new pandemic. Sawuncokola ke namadodana sivumana into yokubana zintoni ezenza umjolo be-pandemic. Let's go inside sive kubo. Ibhlungu into eyenzekileyo kwesi sikolo senu. It's all over the news. Ukubulawa kuka Ntokozo Xaba. Ebulawa ngumlingani wakhe, well the ex yakhe. This is something engeyenzeke kuwe. This is something engeyenziwe yifriend yakho. Lichaphaza elinibeka nina madoda ukuthi nikanje nakanje. Nicinga ntoni ngayo yonke lento eyenzekileyo?
May Ntokozo's soul rest in peace, and I think we also owe it to many other women who've been victims of GBV and femicides in SA to dip our flags. I think one thing that our society needs to address is the tokenism of love. Is love what love is supposed to be in our society? Or love has been tokenized such that whenever whoever walks away, it becomes that you are stealing from me, and not that I loved you, and because I loved you, it was not, and it doesn't always work out in all relationships.
As a society, we need to address this patriarchal tendencies that seeks to some point dehumanize women in our society. We need to recondition our mindset about how we view women in our society. Otherwise, we're going to have the same issues of gender-based violence perpetrated against women now and forever.
Most of the children, mostly boys, they have been told that as a man you need to man up.
Manning up doesn't mean that you have to raise up your hand to another man or another lady. That's not the definition of manning up. Manning up is basically taking care of yourself. Manning up is doing what you said you're going to do when you came to school. Manning up is doing what you said you're going to do for your family when you came to school or when you're working. There's a definition of a great manning up.
So ndifuna ukwazi nje ukubana side sifikelele kwi-point yoba uyanibulala. What are some of the things enicinga nina as amadoda ezicontributayo, especially xa sikubudlelwane sobabini sikwi-relationship?
Males, when they get into relationship, most of them, they tend to think, Lord, they own the females. Like they want to make decisions for them, tell them what to wear, when to go out, who they're going out with. And that's not right, Shem. It's not right. I feel like if you go into the relationship, loving yourself, respecting yourself, and trusting your partner, you don't have to constantly check up on her.
Suppressing your emotions and suppressing your anger to a point whereby you break down. And that's where we need to talk to our friends and our young people. Say, guys, you need to talk. I'll style how you're counseling. You're not a fool when you go for counseling. Don't tell me, I ain't gonna see a string. I ain't gonna see, no. You are going to see a shrink if you need to. You are gonna talk to an elder if you need to. You are gonna talk to your father if you need to. Because when you don't do that, that's where all this thing comes out and comes out violently.
Nani madoda nine demands. As much as abafazi bezothi indoda masinani, xa ufuna ilady uzothi no ndifuna abe njanjani, abe yellow bone, abe ne curves, abathintini. If kuzoza umuntu ongathi basic uzothi no. But laa mntu lowa one shapes and curves uyam-afforda na.
For me personally, I'll date a person that would want to build me. No matter the shape, it's the mentality that I want. A person that I can say, our future needs to, we need to be together in everything that we do. She needs to be the one to motivate me into doing things that I've never thought I would do,
Uza kwinto yokwakha, a lot of women complain ukuthi yo ndamakha sasa sinje soyithu sifana ndayakha indoda. Masay right, say abonabonian she.
Personally, I think if someone is to build you, anchor you and everything else, and then subsequently they leave you, it means they were never meant for you. I think that on its own, at some point, creates a sense of entitlement. So it happens, it's mjolo, it happens. So you just have to move on.
So let's reverse the roles. Maybe nguwendoda who is building this woman. Uyafika ndinje nje ndiphaqaphaqa undakhe undenzele yonke into and then I leave you. How do you deal ke ngoku with that heartbreak yokuba you've invested so much, your time, your money, and then decide into yobana you are not my type?
Okay, I'm not condoning violence or whatnot, but I feel that's some of the issues that push people to do the things that they do because their mental state is fragile to a point where they don't even speak to other people about, hey, this girl, she hurt me. But they can't do that to other gens. They can't go for counseling, so they express their anger in very violent ways, putting them in an even worse situation than when they were when they got their hearts broken.
Even when you do wrong, you must have men that you account to, that able to say to you, no, but what you are doing is wrong. That is not how you speak to a woman. That is not how you speak to even another man, because the moment there is no any nucleus of accountability that you account to, you see yourself as being, the alpha and omega of your existence. And that's when you start doing things that are not supposed to be done.
There was a really powerful conversation from Ukolosa speaking to young men on the ground at TVT, just really getting some kind of insight around how romantic relationships impact them as young men. But as expressions, we want to extend our deepest condolences to the family of Ntokozo Xaba as well as her friends. We wish you comfort and strength. We'll be back right after this. You're watching Expressions.
Hi Expressions, my name is Nomusa. I'll be a street journo today. The question for today is how love impacts our lives as young people. Let's ask our young people right behind me.
We spend money that we don't have because of social pressure, right? So we see things more social media or the guy who reketse mang koloi ing ya sering, and then we like ishlina ka nyaka motho wa hawa pressurize, and then that's where social pressure comes in. Bo indota must provide.
Yo, generation are not toxic. Like it's toxic, and we are promoting with toxic ball. Social media, you're not promote toxic ball.
Young couples will be having a relationship together, and then only to find out the relationship is one-sided. So the other one that is loving to the other side is no longer there. So they are going through counseling. Some of them they are depressed due to all of this, and some are even afraid to love again.
Well, I think it depends on the nature of the relationship you have with the person. If you're dating someone who's obviously above you with some things, you want to level up as well. Like I've dated someone who has qualifications more than I do, so I take that as a challenge and I want to further my studies even more.
What's your take on GBV in a romantic relationship?
I don't think it just happens that we're in a relationship, then dugu, GBV occurs. No, it has to start somewhere. It starts from your mind. It starts from the mind. From the mind, it build up financial, the finance, the dialogue, and then if you get to a point where like they see red, then it occurs.
Kubana this thing abo endota must njengoba shizo lento leyo mina personal I take it as GBV because bias abuse emotionally yabona basifakile pressure. What if manje ngigcina ngalawa le pressure ngingenela gcina sengilanda laptop yami ngiyithengisa for ukuthi ngithengele izinto, and lapho things affecta mina esikolweni because I need the laptop for ukuthi ngisebenzise academically.
Ra influencer na majida and le problem le media akabulele awuna muthu kubulana lena, can keep it to myself and it can damage emotionally, then I lead her get rid of the thing.
Welcome back. You are still tuning into Expressions. Today we are focusing on the month of love and its impact on young people. Njengoba ubonile on the streets, into yobana abantu abatsha bayathetha ngomjolo. The dating, is it the new pandemic? Owona mbuzo siwubuzayo kukuba ingabe ubudlelwane bothando buchaphazela njani ubomi bakho njengomntu omtsha. Kuyixovula ke ngxoxo. In studio I'm joined by Favorite and Dr. Teddy. I'm going to start with you, Dr. Teddy. Talk to us about the programs that you run and how do they assist abantu abatsha?
Our youth, we have got very intensive programs. Asiarana, a campus, campus-wide, the whole of TUT. And the programs are quite varied. We've got gender desk. And talk about posters, but posters are not enough. We've got quite intensive programs that we are doing. Activities involving, LGBTI pride and mental health. Mental health is very, very key, especially when we talk to the youth. The youth have got problems. So the other problems that we now look at is that we zoom into youth life. And in youth life, you find that that's when we find our kids, most of them, not being open about their problems. And what we did is, luckily enough, through our stakeholder relations management, we're able to seek some strategic partners. Laba partner fige. They don't only bring money, we want participation. Then that's how we have been rolling quite a number of intensive programs.
What is it that you'll be doing differently in terms of the programs that you'll be introducing to students, especially creating a safe place where they can vent? Because in the GPV,
now, unfortunately, this is the month of TUT when we are in mourning. We are in mourning for Ntokozo, but we have lined programs and we are saying to all stakeholders involving our staff. We've got quite staff members who are dedicated to help. And that's what we do.
Favorite, I want to come to you. I mean, you sounded the alarm on the poor safety. We raise. I want to know, how have things improved ever since when the umsebenzi wakho?
Well, they didn't improve at all. Well, a few months after the whole incident, there was another incident that happened. So nothing ever changes. That's the thing. Nothing ever changes. Yeah.
And doctor, are there cases of men who are abusive in relationships? And what is their response?
When we look at our boys, you think they are okay. But unfortunately, our boys, most of them are cocooned. And what we do with our programs, especially our psychological sessions, since they're going to open it up. And since I'm a program about men, we develop them as men. We have got a unit called SAED, Student Life and Extracurricular Development. And Lapo, our students enjoy a campus life. We want them to be vibrant. It's a pity, it's bad when you see women can protect themselves. For instance, introduce into ikarati.
Oh yeah.
Mina ngenza ikarati masese esowethu ngisasomntwana. Ngifuna ukuthi labantwana laba, especially our girls, to be involved in karate training so they can have self-defense. Right?
And before I want to get to you, Favorite. I mean, what sort of advice would you give institutions, as how we can end this GBV ngokwenene?
Honestly, I feel like mostly issue is with the fact that the people who are on campus, like on-campus residents, I think they are more protected compared to us who are off campus. Because most of the time, when you look at like the statistics, most of these problems, they arise from people who live off campus. On campus, there are issues, but they're few. So I feel like maybe these institutions, the management of these institutions, they should just start listening to off-campus residences instead of just focusing on the on-campus ones, because at the end of the day, we're all part of the same institutions. We're all students of the same institutions. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us and being the voice of the voiceless. We really hope that the programs that you have instilled in children, they will bring about solutions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Siyabonga.
Right, make sure that you do interact with us on our social media platforms. Sisonke, we can end gender-based violence. Do not move a muscle. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You're still watching Expressions, your #1 youth current affairs show. We're putting a very important spotlight on the impacts of romantic relationships in the lives of young people. That is our poll question that we want you to engage on today, because we know that romantic relationship, ditaba tsa marato, can have a positive as well as a negative. And of course, I'm going to unpack this conversation with Mushidishi, and I want to find out from you, what are some of the reasons that are cited by young men that you work with on the ground around why they are violent, why they're committing GBV within their romantic relationships?
Some of the reasons that are being cited by young people that we work with is that they don't know better. They have been raised in families where there's only a woman. There's never been a role model. And where there is both parents, all what they know and they have witnessed is a violent relationship between mother and father. So they grew up in domestic relationships, seeing mama le papa balwa every day. So you could imagine that kind of a young person. What is the best thing that she knows? All what she knows is violent. And you would agree with me that violence is not only at home or at school, it's even in our communities. And if it starts at home, it's been transferred to schools. From schools, they graduate, they go to universities or institutions of higher learning.
And what is missing? Are we not educating young people enough? What is the blind spot that we're not seeing around how we can prevent, GBV from happening, especially in romantic relationships?
I think one of the things that we need to look at is look at the social structural drivers. When traditional leaders, faith-based organizations or pastors are at the forefront and talking to men and boys about, gender equality, because the other problem is that men look at women, they look at themselves as being superior to women and girls, and we are seen as inferior.
What we're seeing being committed by young people is actually a mirror reflection of what's really going on in society. But what is the way forward? How do we prevent this from happening?
The way forward would be we need to have dialogues with boys and men, because for the longest time we've been focusing on strengthening and empowering women and girls. It's about time that we bring men and boys on board and create a safe space for them to talk about issues that affect them, reasons why they see a woman maybe as an object that they can clap at any time, why are they not respecting human rights and women's rights?
Mushidishi, thank you so very much for being part of today's show. And I think even as Expressions, we're really proud that we were able to touch on some of those issues around creating safe spaces and being able to have a dialogue with young men. So I'm really proud of that. Hey, Kolosam, let me call you over. So we've kind of done our part to make sure that men are part of this conversation, right?
Oh, yeah. And at any given moment, as a young person, you have the power to say, this is not how my story is going to end.
And unfortunately, the sadness does not end. We want to extend our heartfelt condolences to the Forbes family who lost their son to senseless gun violence. Ukinan Forbes, also affectionately known as AKA. As Expressions, we pay a tribute to this award-winning, multi-talented artist, the super mega himself, AKA, rest in power, the GOAT.
Ubova. Ewe Jacqueline sithi tutuzekani mdeni nabalandeli baka AKA. Well, next week we'll be tackling the issue of gun violence that continues to claim the lives in our country. Until then, zikhathalele, and may Super Mega's legacy live on.
Tell me, are you my ride or die? My future wife. One day we gon' walk down the aisle. Don't be surprised. I need stability. I need some peace of mind. I need tranquility, so we can live this life. Rambo, I go load up the ammo. We go pull out the Lambo. I put you on the level. Responsibility, that's on my shoulders. I love your melanin, that's Coca-Cola. If I tell you